Hello America, Blaze Skyblaster here. So, if you've been on my channel for a while, you should probably figure it out by now. I like making short films. I like creating web series. Series? Ugh, whatever. I like writing short stories. So I decided to make a video to help future people with their own short films, or series, or whatever. And I know I got big mouth right here, considering the fact that I've seen my other projects and they, not so great.
Rehearse. What you gonna do with all that junk inside your stop?
What? You mean the children do what now? Okay, this is interesting.
But who knows, maybe some of these tips will help. And I know more than likely what I'm going to say on this video might be stuff you've heard before, but there's a reason, because it's true. And hey, if you've been living on a rock the whole time, maybe this might be new to you. So, let's dive in. So, for today's video, I want to talk about a villain, or main antagonist, and how to write a pretty decent one. First off, before you even start working on the script, you should already be figuring out what your characters might be. And that also is no exception for antagonist. Think about the world that your story is set in. Is it post-apocalyptic? Is it dystopian? Is it futuristic? Is it medieval? Is it modern day? Is it science fiction? Basic stuff like that. And this might sound very simple, but some cases it doesn't feel right. And what I mean by that is that there are some films that feel like they could go on perfectly fine without a main antagonist. Now, hear me out. It's okay to have a bad guy, just not a main one. Think of movies like Lady and Tramp or Dumbo. Old Disney films, mind you. Because, I mean, let's be honest, modern Disney, they always have to have a main antagonist. Sometimes. Anyways, they didn't have a overarching antagonist throughout their story. You could say, like, the Ringmaster from Dumbo might be a main antagonist, or the Siamese cats or that obnoxious lady that owns them as a main antagonist, but not a severe threat. They are jerks, yes, but not a main one. So, if your story feels like it can go smoothly without an overarching villain to take down, then don't. Not every story needs a main antagonist. You can think of other things that could be an obstacle for your character's way. So, think of, like, a love triangle. Wait, what? Or maybe think of romance. You don't need some assassin just hunting down your girlfriend. You could have another obstacle, like she wants to move or something. You don't need a us versus them mentality for the story. Because there are a few examples where it doesn't feel like they should have had an antagonist, but for some reason they're like, who gives a crap, we're gonna put one in anyways. Like the Lorax movie. Now, you could say the Onceler is a main antagonist, but honestly, I don't really know for that, because in the sense of the story, there wasn't supposed to be any true bad guy, and more so a cautionary tale. But in the movie, they decide they need a corporate bad guy who has no redeeming qualities. So, yep, they have a bad guy when there shouldn't be one. Good lord. So, bottom line, if your story feels like it's run smoothly without a main antagonist, then don't have one. Or at the very least, don't make a major one. Number 2. It doesn't matter what kind of film you're making, presentation matters. If you're making a comedy, you can introduce your character as, dumb or dim-witted. Make him seem like he's not even a pure threat and more so a nuisance. Think of Doofenshmirtz from Phineas and Ferb. He's not a pure threat. Or then think of Ice King from Adventure Time. He's literally stated by Finn himself that he's like a lesser villain. Or if you're making a serious drama, think of Joker from the Christopher Nolan trilogy. His introduction is purely intimidating and terrifying. He is a truly terrifying villain just from the introduction alone. Now, if you're making a comedy, it wouldn't make sense for your character to be overly dramatic and very moody, because then it takes away the feel or tone that the film is supposed to have. Now, sometimes this could work if your story is a very dark humor, but if not, then it doesn't really work. So, bottom line, presentation matters depending on what kind of film you're making. Next, your antagonist needs to have a motive. Give them a reason for why they're doing this. Now, there are some villains where they could work without an actual motive, like Big Jack Horner or heck, the Joker from the Christopher Nolan trilogy. They can work without an antagonist because they've been set up like that the whole time. But then there are some cases where the antagonist really needs to have a motive, or it feels like they need to have one. And when you do give them a motive, make it make sense with the narrative of the story. Take Cinedor, for example. And I swear I'm not going to use examples from my characters all the time. Cinedor is a lonely creature who wants to keep his wife alive. But however, in the process of trying to keep her soul, it causes the world to eradicate itself, making him an antagonist. Not a pure intentional one, but it causes problems via antagonist. And it also makes sense with the scene of Remade. It's a story about reincarnation and death. It fits the narrative. So, bottom line, make your antagonist have a motive that makes sense with the narrative or story. Next, make your antagonist relate to the protagonist in some kind of way. And what I mean by that is that make them seem to be a reflection of what the protagonist can possibly become. Make the flaws in the protagonist seem to be leveled up. Make them the protagonist in their character development somehow. Take Kira from season 1 of Dogs in Space. Kira lost faith in humanity and is a reflection of what garbage can become if he's way more impatient and less loyal. Bottom line, make your antagonist reflect the protagonist's negatives. Next, make your antagonist seem to be a worthy opponent. It's okay for the protagonist to feel fear as they enter the arena. Now, this could go either way depending on what kind of film you're making, but bottom line, make them seem to be a bit tougher than your protagonist due to their character flaws. Take Death from Puss in Boots. Puss is reckless and selfish with his lives. Meanwhile, Death is coming after Puss in the first place because he was so reckless. So, bottom line, Puss needs to be less selfish and less reckless. So, bottom line, make your opponent seem to be a bit tougher due to the protagonist's flaws. So, pretty much a bit more of what I said before. And lastly, and I can't stress this enough, make your villains fun. Make them creative. Make them unique. Make them have a personality. They don't need to be a one-sided villain. So, with all that out of the way, if you follow the tips I showed you, and also try to put creativeness and effort into your character, you, my friend, have a great end. Hey guys, Blue Sky Blaster here, and if you like this video, leave a like and subscribe, and if this video gets enough likes, I'll probably make a part 2 where I'm talking about different kind of villains, like twist villains, or how to transition a good guy into a villain. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.